This is High Priestess Jamila, and I wanted to come and expose one of the biggest lies that have been told, or maybe it's an assumption. I'm not sure. Honestly, with the very big obsession with child sacrifice, I believe that um, what I'm saying and stating is true. Okay. Um, and children are being sacrificed every single day. Okay. Like you're always hearing about something in the news. And it is one of the most egregious things that we go through. Like the reason why it makes us sad is because it's not supposed to happen. I think that people tend to like to disconnect emotionally in some kind of way, and they like to accept what they have been taught. Okay. So, this is going to be another entry in my series about incubuses and succubuses. One of the biggest lies told, I just read a um, Wikipedia article about this. One of the biggest lies, I believe, okay, and Spirit wanted me to immediately come on here and say this, is that incubuses and succubuses can produce and sire children. Supposedly known as cambions or changelings. This is a lie. That is not true. Okay, first of all, what people have to understand is that incubuses and succubuses, they exist behind the veil. These are not physical creatures, rather, they are astral creatures, metaphysical creatures that are interdimensional, meaning that they are not on this physical earthly plane. They are not and they cannot be. I believe that people have been believing in this for years, and it is simply not the truth. Incubuses and succubuses cannot sire children with human females. They cannot do it. Okay? However, what they can do and what they always do is they can connect to you metaphysically, is what they do. This is one of the reasons why it is so harmful for the church to ignore these types of things and try to remain ignorant about it. This is one of the reasons why people like me are always and forever going to exist on this planet, whether or not they want us to or not. Okay? This is one of those things to where it's only about being right. It's only about grandstanding. It's not about what is best for people. Okay? What is best for people? The best thing for people is for people to understand. For example, when it comes to male partners, you cannot, unless you're dead, unless you're already in the afterlife, you cannot have a relationship with a physical, walking, and talking incubus or succubus, okay? These are spirit attachments, meaning that they have attached by some type of astral cord, and they are doing everything that it is that they do via the astral. They are not on our physical plane. They are not. But they can still do a lot via the astral because we are all connected to the astral. That will not change. Okay? So when it comes to the reason why I believe that this lie has been told is because there are so many people that want to, and I don't know why. It's really weird. It's really weird. Well, okay. So for some reason, humans who do tend to, if especially if incubuses and succubuses have been attached to your family generationally, there is this obsession with child sacrifice. I mean, it's literally, I call it an obsession. Okay? So I think that it was made up to justify child sacrifice. Okay? Is basically, this was something that was made up so that people could participate in it. Now, will the incubuses and succubuses feed off of the life force? If that happens, if some kind of child sacrifice happens, which happens via murder, not just ritualistically, okay? Yes, they feed off of everything. They feed off of the child's spirit and energy if the bloodline is not protected. They feed off of the pain and suffering and everybody that is upset and crying. They feed off of the people that are watching the news about the murder or the death. They're feeding off of all of it. They're feeding off of all of that. But to say that a child can be begotten with one is a mistake, okay? So, and I think that it's a lie that was told on purpose. I honestly do. I honestly believe that that's not true. Y'all gotta understand Earth, okay? You have to actually understand the physical Earth and the physical and spiritual connection that women, when they are bearing a child into this world, it's impossible, is what Spirit is saying to me. It's impossible for that to happen. Okay? It's impossible. Humans have been feeding these entities, however, for billions of years because of their ignorance and their lack of understanding of how to cease and desist the obvious possession that people are under by these particular entities. They always connect it to people's dreams when they're giving out misinformation. And through that misinformation, I'm going to be honest with you, I believe that it's the incubuses and succubuses because they are very intelligent astral beings. I believe that they spoon fed us the wrong information on purpose, is what I believe. So they'll tell you something and then you just accept it as gospel, and it's totally not the truth. That's how they keep you ignorant. Incubuses and succubuses are actually the worst enemy that we have, and a lot of people do not realize this. Okay? So I wanted to come and speak about that real quick because I feel really passionate about helping people with these particular entities. I've gotten a lot of information. Us believing that children, can be spawned from these beings, it only makes us more ignorant, and it only puts us at a disadvantage and, keeps us dumb, keeps us in the dark about the situation. So, um, don't accept that information. And I want people to be careful believing that a child can be born as and as a cambion or a changeling. That is very dangerous for people to believe that. Now, can a child be possessed by one of them? Absolutely. Yes. Does that make the child inherently or innately evil? No. Is that very different from giving birth to a child with spiritual gifts? Yes. Yes. It's very, very different. A child born with spiritual gifts is not inherently just evil. Hello to the chat. How are you? I wanted to come and say that real quick, um, because we got to be careful in the spiritual community, and the spiritual community in just these spiritual groups. They believe in so much that to me is very erroneous. I mean, okay, everybody's perception is their reality, but you really have to educate yourself on this stuff and stop remaining ignorant about it, okay? Um, and realize that, first of all, witchcraft is separate, doesn't have a connection. Witchcraft within itself is not directly connected to these types or other prototypes of demons. Witchcraft is witchcraft. It is at its core nature and, yes, spirit based. Okay, air, fire, water, and earth. That is what witchcraft is. Okay, and a lot of other things, but a lot of people want to automatically say that. But see, going back a billion years, it was the witches that had the understanding of this, of the astral realm, and how these particular beings came into existence. A lot of that has been lost for some reason. A lot of it has been lost. So, I believe that on some level, succubuses and incubuses, they're almost like they're like spiritual mutations of us. Okay, that's really the best explanation that I can give about them. But what I can tell you is that they are very dangerous, they are very harmful, and I'm not saying all of them because, like I said, there are some of them that can be considered to be familiars for some people. And they, have like this, love, or either this, they care about humans, okay? But that's few and far between. 99% of incubuses and succubuses are just bad people. They're bad entities. They are not entities that you should be playing around with. And people really need to quit relating it to sex. That's another thing that's a problem with that. Comparing incubuses and succubuses and trying to relate them with sex directly is just like trying to direct grape with with it being about sex. Grape is not about sex. Grape is about control. Grape is actually a byproduct of these particular beings. Okay. But I'm not saying that, I'm not trying to discount or take the responsibility away from, mankind that performs those egregious acts, because there's bad people in this world, absolutely. um but there it's not connected. Okay, you're not, if you have an encounter with an incubus or a succubus, you're not having a real sexual experience. What you're having is them feed from you. You're almost experiencing like death. The feeling of what they're giving you is not sexual necessarily. It's very similar, but it's not the same, because what ends up happening is that a lot of people end up getting sick. They feel drained, not relaxed. The difference between real sex and sex with an incubus or a succubus is that you're going to feel relaxed. Now this is where it gets very confusing, because if you most of the people that you run into on this planet, your sexual partners, a lot of them, unless they have gotten help from a um, someone for it, most people, I'm going to say probably over half or more, do factually have incubus and succubus attachments or some other type of spiritual attachment. So it's not them that's doing it. Most people don't even realize that they have that attachment. Okay? Most people don't even realize it. They're not even doing it on purpose. You know what I mean? This is the reason why it is very important to pay very close attention to the people that you are having sexual encounters with. You know what I'm saying? You have to really, really look at all of that, especially if you are having trouble or turmoil. And from the looks of it, a lot of people are. One second, excuse me, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So, that's just what that is. And from what my understanding is that I received, not only from the heavens, but then again also from the underworld, is that they are not to be trusted. Those particular entities are not to be trusted. And that is the direct experience that I've had with them, is that they can't be trusted. So, but it is what it is. The spiritual community is going to do what they want to do, because they feel like they want to embrace everything that the Bible spoke against. Okay, so anyway, that's pretty much it. That's all I wanted to say. Make sure that y'all hit that thumbs up and subscribe, and visit Divine Services Apothecary.com if you guys want to schedule readings, consultations, and for rituals and healings that work. Okay, in particular, if you need healing from years and years of incubus and succubus attachments. Okay. All right. Bye bye.